Hello, everyone. I'm your digital host, Tatyana White. Welcome back to another episode of the 48 Recap, the one-stop shop to catch up on some of our top news stories of the week, including a hit-and-run incident in North Alabama, multiple SWAT raids in a Meridianville neighborhood, 7 men arrested in a Priceville undercover child exploitation sting, Alabama legislation on AI, and how an investigation is ongoing for a case of an AI child porn situation. Alabama's gubernatorial candidate's stance on data centers, new grocery stores opened this week in food deserts, spotlighting Alabama natives doing great things on national stages, a recap of the 2026 SEC Media Days, weekend events, and so much more. And I hope you all are having a great weekend and staying dry. I know it's been raining, and yesterday it was very rainy, and then also now it's starting to get back hot again. So just staying hydrated as that heat and the humidity is starting to really come back into the valley. And it seems like that's the main pattern lately. It's like hot and then rain and then humidity, and it's just like this cycle. So hopefully we'll catch a little break soon. But let's get into this week's recap. So we start with news from this weekend where a Florence police confirmed that a 19-year-old woman is facing charges connected to a hit-and-run crash late Friday night. Scarlett Montgomery is charged with DUI, assault, and leaving the scene of an accident. Police say she was driving an SUV that hit a cyclist on that Friday night on Cloverdale Road, and the cyclist was flown to a nearby hospital with serious injuries. The SUV kept going, and we're told Montgomery called police about 2 hours after the crash to report that she had been in a wreck. She was arrested after police say they linked her vehicle to the hit and run. Montgomery was released on bond Saturday afternoon, and we spoke with legal experts who've worked cases like this, and they say if you ever find yourself at the scene of a crash, whether it's with another car or with a pedestrian, the worst thing you can do is run.
Whatever assistance you can to that person, because I promise you later on, if a judge is looking at the case and you stopped and you're helping somebody, the judge is going to look at that as, hey, okay, maybe probation, okay, versus you leave the scene of an accident and somebody's hurt or dies, and then, man, it's going to get real bad on you at sentencing.
Attorney Mark McDaniel, who you just heard from, says that a new Alabama law passed this year to crack down even harder on people who leave the scene of an accident. He says starting October 1st, the penalty goes up to a Class B felony carrying a sentence of no less than 2 years and up to 20 years in prison. And Priceville police have sent 7 men to the Morgan County Jail, accusing them of traveling to the city to meet underage children for sex. You can see the suspects here on your screen. Police say undercover officers went online and posed as children, getting into sexual conversations with strangers. When the strangers suggested meeting in real life, they were sent an address in Priceville and found cops waiting for them. The men are from Florence, Coleman, Madison, Morgan, and Limestone counties. They're all being held on electronic solicitation of a child and human trafficking charges. And on Tuesday, a 20-year-old was arrested after Madison County deputies and the SWAT team swarmed a Meridianville neighborhood for a shooting investigation. 48's Callie Neese talked to people about the arrest, and she shares more.
I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
This is Zamaya Freeman as she recalls what happened early Monday morning when sheriff's deputies came into her neighborhood.
Bah, bah, all that.
Deputies were called out to the Bermuda Lake subdivision after someone fired bullets into a home with a mother and her young son inside. After reviewing surveillance video, deputies identified multiple people involved in this shooting. Monday night, they arrived with the SWAT team and were able to take 20-year-old Cordarius Holden into custody. He is now facing 2 counts of shooting into an occupied dwelling and 1 count of shooting into an unoccupied vehicle. Deputies recovered this gun on the scene, an AR-style pistol equipped with a binary trigger and shell catcher. Investigators say it had been stolen in Tuscaloosa. Freeman told me she doesn't feel safe in her community.
I wouldn't say it's safe. You can't even walk your dog without it being problems. Yes, because it shouldn't even get to this point. You know, it should be a safe environment for family and friends and all. It should never get to this point right here.
And this is not the first time something like this has happened in this community. Just last year, another home was hit by gunfire, and neighbors say this has been a constant issue. One neighbor who wants to remain anonymous and who has voiced her concerns with us in the past told me Tuesday she hopes others who are involved are held accountable.
I just hope that, they got several suspects. I just hope something is done and that these kids don't get a slap on the wrist because they're juveniles. What can you really do to a juvenile?
Brent Patterson from the Madison County Sheriff's Office told me that they are going to continue to work to keep this community safe.
And again, we do know who the others involved are, and this is just a starting point. We're going to find you and we're going to put you in jail.
Reporting in Huntsville, Callie Neese, 48 on your side.
And for a second day this week, the Madison County SWAT team ended up back in the Meridianville neighborhood. This was the scene on Thursday evening at the Bermuda Lakes subdivision in Meridianville. This is that same subdivision that they raided that you guys just saw in that video. And that operation again led to the arrest of 20-year-old Cordarius Holden, who's accused of shooting into a home with a mother and young child inside. Deputies confirm additional search warrants were served at more homes on that day related to that operation.
It's crazy. It makes you think about where you live. I don't feel in danger here, but there's a lot of stuff like that seems to go on.
We've been reporting on the subdivision since last year when neighbors told us teens have been shooting off guns and vandalizing homes. On Friday, we learned more about the SWAT raid in Meridianville that led to that arrest of 2 men and several guns getting confiscated. Officers say 2 of those firearms were illegally modified. The SWAT team conducted operations in the Bermuda Lake subdivision twice this week. Madison County deputies say gunfire hit a home and a car early Monday morning. They arrested 3 men, all between the ages of 19 and 21. Brent Patterson with the Madison County Sheriff's Office says there are more suspects and they will continue to work to keep the community safe.
Adults if you want to, but if they're running around with handguns with modifications to these weapons and switches, they're adult criminals in our book, and we don't care how old they are. If you want to run around and do that type of business and put lives in danger, our message is we're going to find you and we're going to put you in jail.
Local advocates say illegally modified guns are a serious public safety concern. And with that SWAT raid in Meridianville leading to the confiscation of 2 illegally modified weapons, investigators seized 4 guns in total that they believed have been used to shoot into occupied houses. And again, 2 of them had been illegally modified. 48's Callie Neese spoke to law enforcement and an anti-gun violence group who says gun modifications are out of control in Alabama.
The increasing availability of these modified guns or firearms, for example, the Glock switch is becoming one of the most serious public safety concerns in our communities.
The 2 guns recovered are part of an investigation into a shooting in the Bermuda Lake subdivision. Deputies say gunfire hit a home and a parked car early Monday morning. Deputies arrested 3 men between the ages of 19 and 21. They believe there are more suspects.
We made it clear that if you're involved in criminal activity involving handguns, shooting in a home, shooting into cars, we're coming for you, and we're not done yet.
Cynthia Eboyne from Chill Huntsville and Stop the Violence told me these illegal modifications can convert guns into weapons capable of firing at extremely rapid rates.
Normally, you get a few rounds of fire. Now you can probably get 100 or more at one time. So that means more victims. That means more casualties. And, it's extremely dangerous.
Patterson said they will continue to work to keep this community safe.
You can call them young adults if you want to, but if they're running around with handguns with modifications to these weapons and switches, they're adult criminals in our book. And we don't care how old they are. If you want to run around and do that type of business and put lives in danger, our message is we're going to find you and we're going to put you in jail.
Eboyne believes that it is also important to stop this issue at the source.
We need to invest in prevention instead of only reacting after the tragedy occurs.
This is still under investigation. Reporting in Huntsville, Callie Neese, 48 on your side.
And we will, of course, keep you updated on that investigation. And Madison police need your help in the death investigation of 54-year-old Scott Hone. Hone was found dead earlier this month near a campsite near Madison Boulevard and Westchester Road. His daughter, Kaylee Landress, says her father's story is more than a homicide investigation. She says they spent the last 2 years rebuilding their relationship. She hopes sharing his story will help bring her family answers. Daryl Green reports.
It just hurts not being able to have that time with him because somebody else decided that they were going to take another human's life. And so that kills me.
After years of driving trucks and even starting his own business, Scott Hone fell on hard times after moving to Madison 2 years ago. But Hone and his daughter had a plan that was finally coming together. From her home in Florida, she was saving money to bring her father closer so they could finally spend more time together.
I was definitely trying to get him down here, and he was working on it. He had a job and everything. So he was working. He was the type that never would quit, never give up.
That all changed when her father suddenly stopped responding to her calls and texts on May 25th. Weeks later, her search for answers ended with the news she'd been dreading. Her father had been killed. Now, as Madison police ask the public for help, she says she won't stop searching for answers.
It is something that's very, very important to me, and somebody has to know something, at least something, even if they think that it's the smallest, piece of information, or if it's not really useful. Anything is a lot to us right now.
The investigation behind a shooting that left 2 men dead in Huntsville is just beginning. Police say it happened early last Sunday morning on Blake Bottom Road. A third man is being questioned while families of the victims are left with many more. 48's Angelina Fantaroni spoke with the family of 26-year-old Devontae Vance, and they say that he was a loving father, son, and a man who always put family first.
We want everyone to remember just how gentle he was, how loving he was, how caring, funny, how if you saw him, you were going to get greeted with a hug.
That's how Devontae Vance's family hopes the 26-year-old will be remembered. They say he loved spending time with his 2 children, Unity and Bryson, and was excited to welcome another baby in the coming months.
He lived for his family, especially his babies. He loved them dearly.
Now they're left trying to make sense of a loss they never saw coming. Huntsville police responded to a business on Blake Bottom Road just before 1 a.m. Sunday for a reported shooting. When officers arrived, they found Vance and another man suffering from gunshot wounds. Vance died at the scene. The second victim later died at the hospital. Police say a third man was involved but are still questioning him.
He was a loving father, a friend, cousin. He was special. He just was Devontae. Everybody loved Devontae. I just miss Devontae.
His aunt Siobhan says the messages flooding social media have reminded the family just how many lives he touched.
This is difficult, but we're definitely going to see after your babies, and we're going to continue to show love. We're going to keep your name alive.
And a 48 News update to a deputy-involved shooting that happened in Madison County last weekend. The shooting is shedding light on the dangers deputies face responding to domestic violence calls. Madison County deputies rushed to the call on Pulley Lane and Tony over the last weekend, and deputies say they saw a man, 42-year-old Jody Drake, chasing a woman with a gun and shooting at her. One deputy says they shot the man. He was taken to the hospital and the woman was not hurt. Deputies say domestic violence calls are the most dangerous and unpredictable situations for law enforcement. They say extensive training helps deputies protect both victims and themselves.
So we have to be trained to know what we're looking for and how to react on that. De-escalation is a very, very important factor in law enforcement, and that is being able to get on their lines to let them know that we're there to help them. And that's the important part, is let them know that we're there to help.
The sheriff's office encourages anyone experiencing domestic violence to reach out for help. Local resources are available to provide support and help victims safely leave dangerous situations. And another 48 News update from last weekend in Russellville, where an argument over a DoorDash order ended with the customer stabbing the driver and even a police officer before being shot and killed. 48's Noah Cowell has the story straight from the DoorDasher himself.
Year-old Yabani Miguel keeps replaying Friday night over and over in his head. After all, not too often does a DoorDash delivery escalate into a stabbing, let alone a stabbing and a shooting. But Miguel saw it all, and he counts himself lucky to be alive.
He was either going after me or the cop, and the cop had to shoot. He had no other choice.
Yabani Miguel never would have thought that his second job with DoorDash would cause any trouble. It was just 2 days a week, so he could support his wife and 2 young kids. But when he brought Eric Martinez's order to Mills Trailer Park Friday night, and Martinez said some of the food was missing, he quickly realized he might never see them again.
He was like, "No, where's my food? You stole my food." I was like, "Sir, I did not steal your food. God is my witness. I did not steal your food. If you want me to, I can go back and go get your food." When he asked, "You're gonna have to give my money back," I thought I was gonna get robbed, bro. I didn't know what to think, and I was just scared.
Miguel says Martinez wouldn't let him leave, so he texted his wife to call the police. Once a police officer arrived, he saw Martinez pull 2 knives out of his pocket.
He just comes back and just starts attacking me. Like, he pulled up like just do. And I feel this intense pain right here. This is what took most of the damage. He sliced my finger open right here. It looked like a hot dog.
Martinez also stabbed Miguel across the leg as he was trying to get out of his car. Once he did escape, he saw Martinez charge at the officer before hearing 3 gunshots.
Is there gonna be 2 dead people or just 1? You know, he had to think about it, but he did an amazing job. I really do think he did. He saved my life. He really did.
I really did think he died, but thank the Lord he's here with us. Cause I'm start crying. We would have missed him. It would have been really tough.
Both Miguel and the officer who were injured in this incident were treated and released from the hospital. Meanwhile, Aaliyah is currently investigating this shooting. Reporting in Russellville, Noah Cowell, 48 on your side.
The Limestone County coroner has identified the woman who was found dead in an Athens house fire earlier this month. Coroner Mike West says Holly Tucker of Athens was found dead during the fire on O'Neill Road. Her cause of death has not been determined and is pending an autopsy. The Limestone County Sheriff's Office and the State Fire Marshal are still investigating. And a Somerville man is behind bars for allegedly setting a home on fire. Authorities responded to the home on Springfield Private Drive. While putting out the fire, they noticed Cody McGraw running off. When they caught him, he admitted to filling a bottle with gasoline, setting it on fire, and tossing it into a carport. He was arrested and charged with arson. He's in the Morgan County Jail without bond, but no one was hurt in the fire. It's been nearly 6 months since a fire devastated several businesses in downtown Fayetteville. The destruction left behind is still there. 48's Noah Cowell talked to a business owner who says it won't be there much longer.
Some say that time heals all wounds, but 6 months is not nearly enough for the people of Fayetteville to recover from this devastation, especially because every time they see that debris still here, it's just a reminder of what they've lost. But now they may finally have light at the end of the tunnel. In early February, 4 businesses in downtown Fayetteville were gone in the blink of an eye.
The wound is not as fresh, but it's not healed. I still see the people who had their businesses here who haven't been able to reopen, and it's really sad to think about them and what all they lost.
What remained the morning after the fire has not been moved since. Brittany Holcomb, who owned one of the destroyed businesses, says all of this rubble is 4 businesses grouped into one, and the owners had months of disputing to the point where lawyers got involved.
There were some questions on ownership and who's responsible for what debris, which we've worked out. I know there were 3 different owners, and so I can't speak for the other owners, but I do know that, we have been chomping at the bit since May to get this cleaned up.
Holcomb says a structural engineer will come in the next few days to determine if they can knock down one of the remaining walls. Once he sends in his report, cleanup will begin 10 to 15 days after that.
there is definitely a huge piece of my heart still in this burn pile that I'm ready to see it gone. I'm ready to move forward.
There will still be a hole on the south side, so I think, you know, it will be better for us to move on, but it's also the uncertainty of what's going to go back in that spot.
Holcomb, who is permanently relocating her business a couple doors down, says that cleanup may only last a few days. Meanwhile, Bird says that after cleanup, they may have businesses built here again, or it may just end up being a green space. But we'll continue to update you as this process continues. Reporting in Fayetteville, Noah Cowell, 48 on your side.
And the city of Decatur is in mourning after a longtime employee was killed in a storm-related accident. Officials say Chris Seal and another city employee were cleaning up storm debris near the intersection of 4th Avenue and 3rd Street when a tree limb fell on them. Seal was taken to the hospital where he died from his injuries. Seal was the park superintendent in the Parks and Recs department. According to the city of Decatur's website, he served the city for more than 20 years. And a Madison County man is accused in what prosecutors call the first case of its kind in the county, child pornography generated by artificial intelligence. 48's Callie Neese spent the day learning more from prosecutors and tech experts.
If it looks like child porn, then it's child porn.
Prosecutors say they've never seen anything like it in Madison County. Child pornography created by a computer. 59-year-old Kenneth Todd Arrington was arrested this week after investigators seized several electronic devices from his home on Emerald Point. Those devices contained images of child porn, appearing to have been created using computer software. Chief Deputy District Attorney Tim Gann told me that child porn was made using AI.
A lot of the cases we get, there is AI child porn accompanied by what we would call normal child porn, and usually we just charge those and move forward, but this is the first time that we're moving forward on a strictly AI case.
Mark Sachs, a cybersecurity expert, said that using AI to create child porn is often blocked by safeguards on sites like ChatGPT. But when criminals use platforms on the dark web or overseas, that might not be the case.
It's available to anybody with an internet connection and a web browser, literally. That means children, ages 3 and up, anybody who's familiar with how to use the internet. It can be done on a phone, a tablet, a laptop.
Though police officials tell me they have not identified a victim depicted in those images, that does not mean the Madison County District Attorney's Office is backing down from this prosecution.
There is a new law in the state of Alabama that allows us to prosecute AI child porn cases.
Gann told me this new law doesn't require a victim, but just requires the material to be virtually indistinguishable from the real thing.
We will approach it the same way, and if you look at these images and it's pretty obvious that it's fake, then we won't fool with that. But the ones that you can't tell that they're AI generated, we will move forward like a normal child porn case. It will be run exactly the same way.
Police say this is still under investigation. Arrington is currently free on a $100,000 bond. Reporting in Huntsville, Callie Neese, 48 on your side.
And Alabama is looking to other states to determine the best way to protect your children from the dangers of artificial intelligence. The goal is to protect children from explicit content and prevent AI from becoming an unhealthy part of their lives. The commission is looking at how other states are working to keep kids and teens safe while using these platforms to help write the legislation for Alabama. Alabama lawmakers considered a handful of artificial intelligence-related bills in the 2026 session, but none fully answered the question the Commission on AI and Children's Safety is looking to answer: what needs to be done to protect Alabama kids and teens from the ever-changing technology?
What is the most important red line? If you had to draw one line and you said this is the ultimate red line, because you might not get everything passed, but you one that you would say is the most important, the most imperative red line that must be drawn. We won't make one recommendation on pass this bill. We'll have recommendations on concepts.
Georgia lawmakers recently passed a bill saying AI companies should use age age estimation, or other identity-based verification to determine if the person talking to a chatbot is a child. States like Idaho, Connecticut, and Hawaii have also passed legislation. The new laws include banning generated explicit content and requiring repeated reminders to a minor that they are not talking to a human being. The bills have similar language but varying levels of liability and punishment for artificial intelligence operators who break the rules. In March, the White House put out a national policy framework for artificial intelligence for Congress to follow. But state lawmakers have said with how rapidly AI technology is changing, they feel the states should be making proactive steps to respond quicker to emerging threats to kids' safety. And a second Florence police officer is facing charges for domestic violence in just the past week. Carlos Rios was arrested in Jefferson County this week after his spouse filed a petition for protection. Deputies are now investigating the allegations. Florence police say he has been with the department since 2023, and this follows the arrest of Asa Baloo last week, also on domestic violence charges. Both officers are now on administrative leave. And on Thursday afternoon, a Limestone County judge ruled that a suspect could celebrate her husband's birthday in person with him after she was accused of stabbing him in the head. Natalie Stanley is charged with first-degree domestic violence for the June stabbing. Her husband, Paige, says his wife suffers with Alzheimer's disease, which affects her memory and behavior. Paige asked the judge if he could see his wife on his birthday, despite her charges. The judge ruled in his favor, meaning he can visit with her while she undergoes treatment in a facility in Coleman. Natalie Stanley is scheduled for a preliminary hearing in November. City leaders are pushing for more growth in North Huntsville and making expansion near North Memorial Parkway a top priority. The council approved a plan to rezone over 500 acres of land to make way for hundreds of new homes. The plot sits on the corner of Bob Wade Lane and Mount Lebanon Road for the Harris Farms development. It's near the parkway and right off what will be the northern bypass. More than 1,800 residential units are planned for the site, along with the resort-style pool, pickleball courts, dog parks, and greenways. It sits next to a $240 million retail center that is already underway.
Great place to live. So, you know, it's part of the city. It's a beautiful place. Have people that are hard workers on their property, and it's just time for District 1 to shine.
Councilwoman Michelle Watkins, who you just heard from, adds it may be a while before homes are actually built. Alabama Senator Tommy Tuberville is making his case for bringing more data centers to the state. Meantime, Democratic gubernatorial candidate Doug Jones says Alabama should hit pause on new data center projects. Tuberville acknowledged concerns about the facilities. However, he says Alabama already has more than 20 data centers operating statewide. He says any future projects should be required to cover its own infrastructure costs and protect taxpayers.
You know, my pledge to every single Alabamian is that I will protect Alabamians from paying a single cent more for their energy as a result of a data center moving to their community. Not 1 cent.
On the other hand, Jones is calling for a 6-month to 1-year moratorium on permitting. He says communities need more time to understand the potential impacts.
Give Alabama the time and communities time to get some guardrails around to make sure that these communities are protected, and also to give some more transparency to these communities so they know from the very beginning that's what is exactly being planned and where.
Jones says his concerns include energy costs, water use, and environmental impacts. And we also have some exciting new developments in Skyline, where folks will no longer have to travel to other towns to get their groceries. A brand new grocery store opened on Thursday. That new store is called Hometown Meat Market Plus. It's located on Highway 79. Community leaders say the area is currently a food desert where shoppers don't have any options and have to drive an hour round trip to find some. And in Athens, shoppers are celebrating the opening of a brand new grocery store. Leaders cut the ribbon on the new food city on Lucas Ferry Road. This new location is near Elm Street. On top of a new place to shop, store leaders donated $5,000 each to Athens City Schools and Limestone County Schools. This will be the company's 5th of 6 locations in North Alabama. And check this out, a Calhoun Community College math instructor got his moment in the spotlight this week. Calhoun math instructor and North Alabama native Matthew Regal appeared on Jeopardy! He says he's been a longtime fan and he earned his spot by passing an online test, making it through auditions and playing a mock game. Regal says it was surreal to stand on the Jeopardy! Set, and he says that the game moves just as fast in person as it looks on TV. And the best part is Regal has been on a winning streak on the Jeopardy! Game, and he won 2 games this week, and he survived the triple stumper in Final Jeopardy! And he returns soon to go for win number 3. Congratulations, Matthew, and we hope you take it all the way and win. We're spotlighting another native. Cooking up national attention, Kalisha Whitman has advanced to the quarterfinals of Carla Hall's Favorite Chef competition. The nationwide contest brings together home cooks from across the country. The winner will be titled Favorite Chef, appear in Taste of Home magazine, and win a cash prize. Whitman says generations of family recipes and Southern traditions have helped shape her culinary journey.
Food has always been more than a meal to me. It's family, it's history, it's storytelling. This competition has given me the ability to showcase all of that while representing Alabama on a national stage.
Whitman's family also has long-standing ties to Madison County. Her grandfather was the pastor at Progressive Union Missionary Baptist Church for 14 years. Her father and several of his siblings graduated from Buckhorn High School. She also spent many summers with her great aunt in New Market, and longtime residents may even recognize the Whitman family name from Whitman Circle in Huntsville. And I absolutely adore Kalisha Whitman. She was actually my mentor all the way back in Florida when I attended the University of Florida. And I'm just so proud of her, and it's truly just a full circle moment for me to get to cover just a story about a woman who taught me all the ins and outs about journalism. So congratulations, Kalisha, on making it this far, and I just love seeing all of Alabama natives getting national spotlight and representing the state well. In 48's Kaylee Tinglestad, she spent the past week in the Sunshine State covering the 2026 SEC Media Days. So check out some of the highlights from there.
Well, that's a wrap on the 2026 SEC Media Days. It's been a really fun week here in Tampa.
No doubt. I mean, we talked to so many coaches, so many players. I don't even know how we're still standing, after the lack of sleep and everything. But what a fun week covering this.
What's been your favorite part of just this week, getting to see all these teams?
Asking Ryan Silverfield if he has aura. I mean, that was a pretty epic answer that he gave back. But I thought Alabama Day was really, really fun, getting a chance to talk to Zabian Brown, their defensive back, such a playmaker there, getting to talk to Kalen DeBoer as well. I thought we were able to learn a lot about the Alabama Crimson Tide the other day.
Yeah, Alabama has a lot of returning players, especially on that defensive side. It was great to see 2 players, Bray Hubbard and Zabian Brown, come and represent Alabama at SEC Media Days and really show for the defense and show for that position group.
The defensive back group, I think, is the strongest part of that team by far, because you also have Keon Sabb that decided not to go to the NFL. So with Sabb and Hubbard, both could have been drafted this year, deciding to come back to Alabama. That's a big sign from them and from Alabama as a team, that they think that's the biggest strength of their team. And I think it's the offense that really has more of the question marks right now.
Yeah, quarterback position, obviously there's 2 great guys, 2 options. Who do you think looks stronger to take that starting role?
Well, it's interesting because it feels like we are really in a true tight competition. And sometimes coaches will say that, but then last year, they were willing to admit Ty Simpson was the leader in April. That is not the case this time. It feels like they both have their defined set of strengths. Ryan Williams says it feels like Austin Mack's been in the system for 47 years. I mean, he's just a college senior, but, he had to roast him a little bit there. But then I think you have Keelan Russell with the upside, and that's ultimately where I think this quarterback competition will lead. I think he's just an unbelievable talent, and I think there will be a point it's too difficult to keep Keelan Russell off the field this season.
It's hard because Austin Mack does have experience, obviously not as much as they probably would want him to have, but even getting that chance to go play in the Rose Bowl in the second half. But then you also have a really talented guy, and so it's, does experience outweigh talent, or is it going to be talent outweighs experience? But the season's coming, fall camp's coming, and we're getting closer and closer.
And do they both play against East Carolina? I mean, what do you think there? Could happen.
Well, I know Kalen DeBoer did say this week that he did not want to have a 2-quarterback system, so he said a decision will be made by the end of fall camp and the start of the season. So I think it's just a matter of time that they make that decision official.
What about those kicker and punter position battles as well? Can North Alabama's Adam Watford win the punter job? Special teams was a problem last year. That's also another area for the Crimson Tide that they'll have to improve on if they can get back to being a true national championship contender in 2026.
Lots of questions to still be answered, especially offensively and in special teams. So we'll keep an eye on it as we get closer to that season opener against East Carolina on September 5th.
Did you like that I shouted out a punter there? I mean, come on, we're going deep here. That's how long we've been at SEC Media Days, that our brains are that deep into the depth chart that we're talking about punters right now. It's good stuff.
Gotta love it. Yeah, it's great.
Fun.
You gotta love it. I'm excited for college football season to be back, and another full circle moment with my alma mater at the University of Florida. Kaylee, she got to talk to their new football head coach, John Summerall, who is a Huntsville native. So I just love all the full circle moments that have been happening for me this week. And coming up after the break, we will sit down and look at a sit-down interview I did for my series This Month Matters as I dive into back to school month and a fun giveaway that is coming up to prepare students for the new school year. Stay tuned. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the 48 Recap. Thanks for sticking around. August is National Back to School Month, and for many families, it's a season filled with excitement, but it can also bring financial stress as parents prepare their children for a new school year. Fortunately, organizations across our community are stepping up to help. For my recent episode of This Month Matters, I got to sit down with Victor and Jamisa Jones, who are the founders and CEOs of God's Image Barbershop, to talk about why they continue giving back through their annual back to school giveaway and why building confidence in students goes beyond just school supplies.
That when we go to the community, we want to just be a one-stop, a one-time.
Right.
We want to make a presence where they know us because of the work we're doing and know that who God is. Because God puts us on our heart to do, not just take care of ourselves, but take care of each other.
Right.
And to take care of each other, we got to provide a need or a lack. If there's a lack, then we need to step up as humans to provide that for each other, because we can depend on our neighbors. We should be able to depend on our fellow man, because God put us on the earth and He provided us. He gave us more than enough that we can provide for ourselves. Abundance is how we live, and abundance is how we give. So we want to make sure nobody lacks. They feel the presence of God when they see us doing things, and they know that paying it forward means we give to you, you can give to somebody else. Even if it's a word of encouragement, even if it's a word of love or care or compassion, patience, all of that comes in. It's not just a bag that we're giving you of equipment or tools. We're giving you love because He gave it to us. And we lack nothing when we stand in the presence of God.
Yeah. Yeah, Victor and Jamisa are so amazing, and they do a lot of wonderful community events, including a blood drive that will be happening on Saturday, August 29th. And donors, they get a free barbecue dinner for participating. And their back to school giveaway is going to be next weekend on Saturday, August 1st from 12 p.m. until supplies run out. And there will be backpacks full of school supplies, free food, games, free haircuts, spa bags, just a lot of wonderful things and something to get your kids ready for the school year. And the best part is they said there is no age limit, so this event is for students in elementary school all the way through college, which is awesome. You know, in college, you already have to pay for tuition, so one less thing to pay for if you're a college student. So check it out. It's a wonderful event. And to hear more about National Back to School Month, this annual giveaway event, and more on Victor and Jamisa's mission to connect with the community, the full interview will be available on WAFF.com this upcoming week. And that will do it today for the 48 recap. Don't forget to tune into our Weather Extra segment. And so again, our meteorologists go live every Monday through Friday at 10:30 a.m. and 9:30 p.m. and every Saturday and Sunday in the morning and afternoon. Forecaster Jada Russell will be joining you all in a few just to give you all some extra insights on the latest forecast. They're actually issuing a first alert weather day for the next 2 days, and that is because of the high heat and the humidity that is going to be rolling into the Tennessee Valley. And Jada will give you guys more of that when she does her Weather Extra. And again, these segments are just another way to give you all those extra insights on the latest weather forecast. Also, check out our 48 Fastcasts throughout the week, where we give you a recap of our news happening that day right before our evening newscast. My fellow digital host Ryan Hodges hosts the 48 Fastcasts on Mondays, Tuesdays, and every other Friday. And then you can, of course, catch me hosting the 48 Fastcasts on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and every other Friday. Join us so you can catch up on all the news and weather happening around the Tennessee Valley. And make sure to download our 48 News mobile app, our 48 First Alert Weather mobile app, and our 48 Plus streaming app, and follow us on our Facebook and YouTube channel so you don't miss any updates on the news and weather. And if you would like to stay connected with me throughout the week, please be sure to follow my Facebook page at Tatyana White, WAFF48. I would absolutely love to talk with you and connect with you all, so please feel free to reach out to me. And take care, everyone. And stay safe. I will be out of town next weekend, so there will not be a 48 recap, but I will be back that following Saturday, August 8th. And of course, before then, you can catch me on a Wednesday and Thursday during the Fastcast at 3 p.m. I hope you all have a great rest of your weekend and a wonderful work week ahead.